But if you're not an effective leader, and if you do not have that influence, no one's going to follow you. In times of struggle and in times of distress, that's when the real leaders, that's when they step up. You have to have that purpose that's strong enough that you're willing not only to live for it and work for it, but if need be, you're willing to die for it. Hello, welcome. My name is Tristan and I'm here to empower you to elevate your lives. Today we are here to talk about a very interesting topic that I've been reading about for a while, and I feel like, this week as I've read again and I've looked at a new book, I think it'll be very beneficial to share what I've learned so far. So yeah, it's about leadership and I'm so excited to share everything that's coming up in this video. Without further ado, sit back, relax, enjoy, and most importantly, take notes. So before we get into today's topic, I'm excited to announce that today's video is sponsored by Zap. Zap is a foundation that is run by some of my classmates. I say my classmates, my friends, and they are interested in basically looking at the prison system in Ghana, and they are looking at renovating it and improving the lives of the prisoners, because they see that a lot of prisoners are actually neglected and they are put into prison on these petty crimes. So they created a foundation which is called Zap, and this is their first shirt, and it's a very, very lovely shirt. So if you are interested in supporting the foundation and supporting my friend's initiative, feel free to go to their Instagram, and actually they've actually given us a deal, because for the first 10 people who buy the shirts using code Tristan15 when they're purchasing it, will get 15% off their order. Now this is only for the first 10 people who purchase the shirts, so please act fast. If you want to buy the shirts, I'll plug their Instagram. The Instagram will be shown somewhere on the screen so you can look it up. But if you don't know what it is, I think it's Zap 233.inc. Zap233.inc. So yes, thank you Zap for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into let's get into it. So today's video is something that I've been thinking about for a while. I've read lots of books about leadership and about being an effective leader and about being a good leader, and I don't know, I just feel like you can never learn enough. There's always something that you can add. There's always something that you can do to improve. And so this week I saw this book, and it caught my attention because now the author is Dr. Miles Monroe, and I've listened to a lot of his his videos online, and guy spitting bars, spitting facts, and I was like, nah, this guy is hard. So now I saw that I actually had a book about him from leadership. That was it just caught my attention. And so yeah, this is the book that's here. It's called The Spirit of Leadership. And yeah, I started reading this book, I think this week or last week, and I just read it for 30 minutes every day. Nothing too crazy. And I've actually gotten a lot of things from this book, and it's so interesting that it's kind of changing my whole perspective on what it means to be a good leader. And I'm here to share with you some of the things that I've actually learned. So let's get into it. Let's get into all that fun stuff. So the first thing that they kind of cover in the book, the first thing that I actually got from the book is that within every follower is a hidden leader. That's one thing that they kind of he really emphasizes, that within every follower there's a hidden leader. And basically he's trying to say that everybody is meant to be a leader, and that everybody is meant to lead in a certain way in life. And he brings up these different people in the book and all these things. I haven't really reached too far in the book, but this is what I have so far from the book, and also a combination of the stuff that I've learned before. I'll probably have another video where I go more in depth into what leadership is, because leadership is so big, and it's a lot. There's a lot of things to talk about being a good leader. There's a lot of things that you can say. But when you first hear the word leadership, when I first hear the word leadership, I tend to think about the position. I think about presidents, I think about CEOs, I think about principals, I think about teachers, people who hold these positions of power. I think about prefects. These are the type of things that I think about when I hear about leadership. But then what I've come to learn about leadership is that it's not revolved around the position. It's revolved around the influence that the person has. You see, because you can be a leader, you can be in that position, but if you're not an effective leader, and if you do not have that influence, no one's going to follow you. No one is going to listen to what you have to say. Is going to be with you throughout everything, through thick and thin. That's what determines the good leaders. And one thing that is highlighted in this book is that in times of struggle and in times of distress, that's when the real leaders, that's when they step up, because that's when they really show up in the times of worry, when everybody doesn't know what to do, where to go. They have that confident voice that's there and that's following. And this book is really, really based around scripture, and I found that to be very, very good for me, because I was learning also a lot about the Bible, actually, because there were some verses that I like I read, but I didn't really understand the true meaning of it. So you can really even get into that, the beginning one. So yeah, let's actually just get into the first one. So the first thing that he actually covers in this book is that leadership is for everybody. And this is something that I believe so well, because a lot of people believe that they have this notion that because I'm not in a position of leadership, I'm not a leader. And because I'm not in this position, because I'm not being put in this position, I have an excuse to not be a leader. But I'm here to tell you that you are a leader. Whoever you are a leader. Now, depends on what you are leading and what it is that you do, but you are a leader. Because we all have that leadership built into us. This is what he even highlights. This is when I was like, hey, that's actually that's true, bro. That's facts. He highlighted this because in Genesis, in the beginning, in the Bible, I think Genesis, when God was creating the earth and he was creating all of these, the plants, he was creating the trees, he was creating the water, the sun, the light, the darkness. He was creating all these things. He was creating everything, but when he was creating it, he created it with a purpose. It's always to serve a purpose. And it's the same way that nowadays we engineer products to serve a specific purpose. That's the same way that God created these specific things to serve a specific purpose. And in order to serve the purpose to the highest of its ability, it has been given the capabilities and the abilities to carry out the purpose to an effective manner. You see? And so keeping that same logic and keeping that same understanding, God then, after he finished creating everything, he now got to man. And in chapter 1 verse 26, he talks about this, and he says that he's creating man to have dominion. If you look at King James version, you get dominion, but other versions have rule. Other versions have I think it's rule and dominion. Those are the ones that I've been seeing. I think there are other different ways, but it's rule and dominion. And so basically, he's saying that he's created man out of his own image to have dominion over everything else that he's created. The animals, the waters, the I've forgotten like what the specific parts is, but he's created man in his own image to have dominion over everything. Now, if he's created us to have dominion, having dominion essentially really means to have control, to have influence. That's like I said, there's so many meanings behind dominion. And if you unpack the word, you get to the foundational root of it, which comes back to leadership. Because that means having control over our surroundings and leading our surroundings. So basically, he says that we are all created in the image and likeness of God. And God is the ultimate leader. God is the best leader that there will be, there ever has been. He is the best leader. And if we are created out of his image, we are created out of his likeness, that means within us we also possess a degree of the leadership that God has. And if God has created us to have dominion, to rule over everything that's around us, that means that he's created us for the purpose of leading our environment and having control over our environment. So if he's created us to have this, you said that's to serve our purpose of leading the environment. That means that we also have within us the abilities and the capabilities to be able to lead the environment. That's why he says in here that within every follower is a leader. Because everybody who is here and everybody who is listening has the potential to be a leader. The title doesn't matter. It's about understanding that no matter where you are in your position, you have the ability to lead. And he defines leadership. At first, when I was now learning about leadership, I always thought about leadership in the sense of, to me, leadership is influence. But he actually had a very it's a very good definition of leadership. And it was something that like it makes so much sense. And so I'm just going to read the definition of leadership that is here. And yeah, you can make what you make of it, but I thought it was a very good definition. Okay, yeah. So in the book, he says that leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. It's a very, very dense definition of leadership. I'll say it again. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, motivated by a passion, generated by a vision, produced by a conviction, and ignited by a purpose. That's his definition of leadership. And I think it encapsulates leadership so beautifully and so perfectly, because like people think that once I get to this position, then people automatically follow me. True leaders, they don't seek their followers. Their followers make a conscious decision to follow the leader because they embody what the leader embodies, and they go with what the leader believes in. Just look at one of the best leaders that has ever been there, Jesus Christ. The Jesus Christ who has been here has lived throughout, has gained so many followers, and they continue to be counting to this day. He didn't come and put a gun to anybody's head and force them to follow him. He did not manipulate anybody to do that. People came to their own decisions and said, no, I'm going to give up what I had. Look at the 12 disciples. I'm going to give up what I had, and I'm going to go and follow him, because what it is that he's working for, his purpose that's ignited by his passion, that is given to by his conviction. Like, using the definition, if you break it down, you can see that Jesus did not go out seeking followers. He didn't. The people who followed him, they made that decision on their own. And that's how great leaders they operate. They don't go around seeking people to follow them. The people who see them doing what they are doing, working towards their purpose, working towards their vision, they then make the conscious decision to say, nah, this guy has to be followed. I have to follow him. I have to see. And I also have that question that, like, if everybody's a leader, who's going to be a follower? To answer that question, everybody leads in different ways. In some situations, I'm the leader. In some situations, someone else is the leader. Understanding that, and if everybody is able to also understand that, there are so many things that you can get into about leadership, and there's so many things that you can bring up about leadership. But it's like, to understand leadership and to be a good leader, you have to understand a few things. The first thing, as I said before, is that leadership, you cannot expect to have followers. You have to be able to really, really be rooted by a purpose, be rooted by a cause. And it's that cause that will get people to follow you if they believe in that cause. But before all of that even comes, you have to understand that the fundamental aspects of leadership is self-leadership. I cannot come and lead other people if I can't lead myself. If I'm telling people, I can use this as a school example. If I'm telling people to be in their rooms past a certain time, to not be out, let's say curfew is 10 p.m. My school curfew, I think, is like 10 p.m. I'm lying, it's 10 p.m. It's 9:30 on weekdays and then 10 p.m. on weekends. If I'm telling them that curfew is at this time, yet they see me outside at that time, that doesn't show me that I'm living by example. Therefore, they will not really respect my decision, because my whatever it is that I say, because it's like I'm telling them to do something, but I'm doing the opposite. How can I tell somebody not to jump a wall, but I'm jumping a wall, and they see me doing it? In order to be a good leader, in order to even have people to look up to, you have to have that sense of integrity and that sense of discipline to understand that whatever it is that I say, whatever it is that I know it is right, I have to act in accordance first. I cannot act in a B style and tell someone to be doing A styles. Doesn't make sense. That's the first key of leadership. And when I understood that, and I said that I didn't even have to go and look for anybody. I didn't have to go and say that, yo, you guys be doing this, you guys be doing that. Just follow the example. You lead by example. That's the most effective way that you can lead. Leading by example. So this video is not supposed to be a long video. If I want to talk about leadership, I'll talk forever about leadership. But this is just like an overview of what I've learned so far about leadership. And I just feel like it's a very, very important element of our lives. It's important. It's an important aspect of our lives as teenagers. Understanding that you are a leader, just as I am a leader. We are all leaders. We all have the abilities and the capability to lead, as it is said in Genesis, as it is said in the Bible. We have the ability to lead. So right now, it's just about you harnessing that potential and harnessing that ability and saying that now that I can see that I have this ability, how am I going to nurture this ability for it to grow and for it to become more pronounced and for it to become stronger? Think about it. Think about how you are going to nurture that ability to lead people, and what are you going to lead people to? It's leading with a noble cause that generates the biggest followers and the greatest leaders. Look at MLK. Look at Jesus. Look at Gandhi. These are all big leaders who have stepped out for a noble cause. Nelson Mandela. Think about them. Like, what did they do? They didn't go out seeking for the followers. Nah. They didn't. It was through their actions and through what they believed in, their purpose. Just as they were willing to live for it, they were also willing to die for their purpose. You have to have that purpose that's strong enough that you're willing not only to live for it and work for it, but if need be, you're willing to die for it. And that's where you get. That's where you become one of the great leaders. So, all that being said, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you again to Zap for sponsoring this video. If you're looking to buy their shirts, remember Tristan15 when you're buying it, and you get 15% off your purchase. Buy it only for the first 10 people, so hurry up and order it fast. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to share with people. Feel free to continue to spread the message and continue to spread the word, bro. We're spreading it. We're growing every single day. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy what you're hearing, feel free to subscribe. You can also look at my Instagram, subscribe there, TikTok too as well. All of them. Just subscribe and then text me. Let me know what you're feeling about it. Let me know what are your thoughts on everything that I've said so far. If you have any any arguments, anything that you want to bring up, anything whatsoever, feel free to let me know about all these things. My DMs are more than open. And yeah, so without further ado, I believe in you. We believe in you. Go and make the world a better place. Don't just live life, but thrive.